All right, welcome back, traders. Let's take a look today at TMF a little bit. There's some big action in there. And we'll talk about Bitcoin, the miners for a second, and we'll look at what happened to some of the biggest stocks yesterday after earnings came out after hours. So let's look at TMF. I did a short about this and I talked about it yesterday. It did exactly what I said it was going to do. It collided with the 200-day moving average up here at $63 and it fell immediately down into the high 50s, where the 5-day and the 50-day EMAs, or SMAs in this case, excuse me, are holding it up. And now price is getting trapped in between that 200-day, that 50-day, and that 5-day moving average. So I think price will probably coil up in here. And if you look, this does look like a nice little cup here, and we are forming a handle somewhere in this area here. But what we need to do is conquer the 200-day. And that's not going to happen until the US 20-year. That's not going to happen until this yield drops. You see how that yield came down big time the last few days and then went up a little bit today to that 5-day moving average and is colliding with it from beneath. We need it to separate from that and come down under that 4%. Honestly, once we get down to this 3.74% here, that's where we will probably see a larger breakdown. Something fun to do with this, though, is do the US 02-year. So this is the 2-year bond. Lay that over and see where it is. Are we coming close to uninverting? Let's turn this to a line. Ooh, we've uninverted. That's actually something I should have been watching for a while. All right, that is interesting. So we actually uninverted a while ago on this one, but the 10 years is really the one you want to watch. So all right, I had to go and clean up my chart here. It was getting a little bit too cumbersome there, looking at those 3 different lines, trying to decipher what was what for. It's too early in the morning for that. Anyways, so you can see I've got my line here on the 10-year. This is where we first inverted. That was July 2022. We've been inverted since July 2022. That's a little more than a year and a half now that it has been completely inverted. And usually when the 2-year uninverts from the 10-year, that's when we start to see a recession play out. But that's also when we will see our bonds get really, really expensive really fast. That's what I was trying to point out before. It looks like they are, well, the 10 dropped. Well, the 2 didn't, so that's not so good. It looks like we're going to stay inverted for a while. So anyways, US 20-year, that's the one I'm following. I don't care about the 2. So this line doesn't matter. We are, honestly, yeah, we want to see this break down under 4, perhaps down to this level here. This is going to be a hard level of support down here at 3.7%. We get beneath that, and it's kind of free fall down into what it's been for a really long time, which is that under 3% range. And that would be a massive, massive return for TMF, which would be pretty fantastic. Actually, yeah, this is looking decently bullish on the 1 week. We've broken out of this downward channel to the upside. We did get rejected, but we're going to have to fight that level. So we're stuck between the 50 and the 200 right now. I want to see this. When yields drop enough, we will see this come over, conquer the 200 again, and start soaring upwards from there up until the next resistance is up in the high 60s. And then after that, we're looking at about high 70s. After that, high 80s. And, it's basically $10 at a time in terms of resistance on this thing. So let's look at Bitcoin. What happened to Bitcoin? Yesterday, nothing happened to Bitcoin. It's a doji candle. It's also forming another doji candle today. Market on Bitcoin is very undecided. And honestly, while this is looking like a flag right here, this is looking very flaggy. The truth with Bitcoin is that it can really go any direction. We are looking at a potential explosive move in either direction. Honestly, our range at this point is anywhere between, 50 and 35,000 right now. It could go either in a moment. This thing turns on a dime, as we've seen with the miners. Let's take a look at the miners. As we've seen with the miners, we've had just back and forth, back and forth. Yesterday it was whips on up and down. This morning, actually, before I started this thing, it was up 2%. Now it's down 1.45%. This is very, very volatile right now. It's just going all over the place while it is forming this handle that I've been talking about. I will continue to talk about until it is done forming that handle and it breaks out to the upside. But it's just grinding down, grinding down, grinding down. Let's see, Bit Farms was performing poorly compared to its peers this morning in the pre-market, and it is still doing so, at least compared to Mara. Right now, we're 2% down, a little more than a half half a percent more than Marathon Digital in terms of being down. It is also following this downward channel that I drew, and is actually get rid of this one. Too much stuff on the chart, and is forming that handle off of that cup. Again, we're waiting for this to break out above this line and take us back into the 250s, even the $3 range. We are now solidly back in our own downward channel from before, that aggressive selling channel. We could see this dip further and actually possibly negate the cup and handle on Bit Farms anyways, and possibly come down and fill this gap at some point around the $2 mark. I'm got my eyes open for that. I will be a buyer in this range here where we've got all this support. Let's take a look at Bit Digital. What is that one doing? Bit Digital is down 3%. Whew, that one's really getting there. This one, I don't even know if that's going to be a cup and handle anymore. That looks like it went past the 50% mark. It is working on filling this gap here down to 257. So it's almost got there. It got down to what, 258 or something? Yeah, it got down to 258. So 1 cent off of filling that gap. And honestly, I think this might be negating that cup and handle. This handle is going a bit too deep on Bit Digital. So, that one might be done. But we are at the bottom of this channel here. This could reverse and come right back up to the top of this channel in an instant. So let's take a look at actually. Oh, wait, one more. CleanSpark. CleanSpark is actually up today. That is not surprising at all. As I've been saying, CleanSpark's been looking a lot more bullish than its peers, so I'm not surprised that it is diverging from them in its price action. I'm pretty pleased with CleanSpark. I'm almost in my full position for CleanSpark, actually, and I have been accumulating in this zone here where it's been ever since it hit 642. I've just been buying all the way up here and back down, and will continue to do so until my position is fully filled out. And this is not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. It's just what I'm doing with my portfolio based on the price action of my favorite Bitcoin miners right now. Anyways, let's take a look at Cypher warrants. These have been very interesting. Now, I am out of these. Full disclosure, I sold these already a while ago. We are in a holding pattern here. So I sold these back when BitFury dropped that news that it was going to sell like all of its stock. I purchased it right here, down here, and this moved down here in the mid 70s, and then I sold it in like the high 80s. So it was like a 10-cent move, but it was several hundred, so it was like 50 bucks or something. Anyways, we're back in that ascending channel all the way down here. We came down to this line at 85 cents and have just been vacillating around that and a dollar, between that 85 and a dollar, honestly between 76 and a dollar. We've just been jumping around in that, and we are building downward now. So this is stuck in a downward channel now, as you can see right there. Much like a lot of our favorite Bitcoin miners, it's stuck in a small downward channel. This has been surprisingly resilient. It is down 4% today, but it's down less than the underlying stock. So that's been very interesting to see the price action on this warrant. I'm not very interested in these again until I see it get, maybe to the middle or bottom of this downward channel here around that 46-cent range. That's when I'm getting interested again in this. Otherwise, I'm just going to let it play out. You see this really big head and shoulders played out here. This thing never wants to let me do a paintbrush. Shoulder, head, shoulder, and then we came back down to that 85 area where we closed out that pattern. And right now we're just kind of flagging, messing around, creating a bottom. Honestly, it looks like we're creating an accumulation pattern down there at that 76 to a dollar range. For now, we'll see if it breaks down further. We'll get into the high 50s, maybe even the 40s, and from there I'll probably be interested in Cypher warrants again. So the last thing I want to talk about today is the Meta. Meta went up. It's up 20.5% today. This thing dragged the SPY up to all-time highs, new all-time highs again yesterday in the after hours. That was absolutely nuts. You can see on the 2 hour, we are so overbought. It is insane. I don't know how much higher Meta will go, but like, I mean, look how far away we are from the 5 day. The 5 day moving average is all the way down at 411. So at some point, this has got to cool down. This thing moved up just an insane amount off of announcing share buybacks and a dividend that's going to be coming out on this one very soon here. And that's just nuts. Look at that. If you were in Meta yesterday, that's 20%. It's like penny stock moves. It's looking like Nvidia moves here with that. So anyways, that's the update for today. Also, this is the last video for this coming week where I'm going to have decent audio or even just okay audio. I will be traveling starting tomorrow, so I'll be on my iPad with that audio, which is significantly worse than this. So I'll anytime I make a video that is on the iPad, I will be announcing, yeah, this is on the iPad. Please forgive the audio. I apologize for that in advance. But with that said, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a profitable day.